Strap yourself in. Woodwork prohibited. Not available in the state of shock.
Hey everybody, Dan Schinder here on Drum Talk TV with my special guest today, Terry Guinn. How are you, Terry?
Dan, nice to see you. I haven't seen you for a long time.
For a long time. I gotta tell you a weird story. So this is being filmed at the end of August. In fact, it's the last day of August, 2013. And in January, I was at NAMM, and you know, there's just so much going on at NAMM. And we had interviews, business meetings. I didn't really get to tool around and gawk and geek out on all the gear like I used to.
I didn't either.
But I did go by a really cool booth before someone yanked me away, you know, with my crew. And I managed to toss a card because the owner wasn't there. And about a month or so later, Terry hits me up on Facebook and says, "Hey Dan, you know, great to hook up with you again. Thanks for leaving a card at my booth, this and that." I'm looking at the name going, Terry Guinn. I went to school with a Terry Guinn.
Yes, we did.
Saw his picture, and I had no idea that Terry is the creator of Drumiture. What is Drumiture? It's just like it sounds. It's furniture made out of drums. Now, this isn't recycling. This is repurposing.
Yeah.
And man, I gotta ask you, and first of all, it is great to see you after, I think it's been like 32 years
More than
maybe.
that, probably, yeah.
Because I don't think I saw you after I graduated from high school. You're about a year older than me, I think. I graduated in 81.
The last time I saw you, you were playing with Rick Zaccaro.
Right, so that was about 32 years ago, yeah. How'd you come up with this idea? Were you just fooling around, or did you have a vision?
My father was an engineer, and I had 6 years of drafting in junior high and high school, and I didn't want to go that route. The technical drawing, the technical pencils, and so I had this art thing in my head, and I was a drummer, and to combine my love for art and music, it seemed natural, and I was 15.
Right.
And I didn't think much of it. I did a few myself, but not that I could sell or anybody would see. And every drummer does this. Throws a piece of glass on a bass, and it's a table, but I take it a little further than that.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it.
But I'm a very green person. Everybody wants to play drums for 5 minutes, and then they go in the back of the garage after they're all broken, and they live a very bad life, and those are the ones I want.
That's
so
cool.
Most of them have holes, most of them are damaged. I've got quite a few of them in the trash. I try to use the bad ones, and the good ones I run into, I give to people who can appreciate it.
That's cool.
The Ludwig people who, vintage drums, something that's nice, I don't want to destroy.
Yeah, I know a couple guys, by the way.
Yes.
In fact, I know two guys that'll fight over that stuff.
Those people don't really like my idea.
For the first time ever, there's a fly in here. There's never been a fly in here. What's up with that?
It's me.
I must have left the door open a little too long. What's interesting is that you didn't just take a drum and throw a piece of glass on it. No. There's a lot more to it. And while you're describing the process, we're cutting in some pictures. This thing has images all the way around the outside and all the way around the inside. And it lights up inside. When you first brought it in, I looked at it, I thought, oh, this would really be cool if it lit up. And then you hit a button, and guess what? It lights up inside. And explain that. It's a self-contained little power system?
Yeah, it's a battery pack that they use in remote control airplanes. And it's just got a little charger, and you push it in, and you just push the button. It's completely wireless. I was reusing the rope lights before, and I always had that wire coming out. And, each one of these evolved into something amazing. Each one. This is my 74th piece.
Wow. Now, talk about some of the other pieces that you've made, and then we're going to talk about a special piece that you're just getting off the ground. And while you're talking about them, we'll drop in some pictures of some of these other great pieces you've done.
Good friend went to school with, Andrew Sokol.
Yeah.
Fender Music Foundation. I built the drum for Mark Schulman. Mm-hmm. Pink's drummer. We went to school with him.
Right. Yeah, he's played with Foreigner, Cher.
Yeah, a lot of people. Cancer survivor, motivating speaker. He's an amazing man.
Yeah.
I worked with his wife for about 3 months, surprising him for his 50th birthday party. I took it down there, and his father had just passed away. And there was a picture of his father and his new baby right inside the drum. And so when I dropped this thing down, I lit it up, and he saw his father, and he starts crying in front of me. And that's what these are. This is not a table. This is not a drum. This is a memory box. This is someone's life inside of it. And what I like to do is use one of their drums, so it's kind of meaning to them.
Right.
But Mark's drum came out amazing, and Andrew saw it. He says, why don't you do one of these for the Fender Music Foundation, and we'll auction it off. And I said, fine. He found a guy. DW Drums sent me the drum, and we built this Neil Peart drum. And Neil Peart signed it, and the guy paid $2,500 for it for the Fender Music Foundation, which was great.
That's great, yeah.
And I threw one in there for Neil, too.
Nice.
I made a Freddie Gruber drum, and I knew he didn't want a Neil Peart drum because he sees that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So I made this really great Freddie Gruber drum and presented it to him, and he, in turn, sent me a nice postcard and a personal note, and it was amazing. He's like my mentor. Him and Rod Morgenstein are the two guys that influenced my music.
Rod who?
Morgenstein.
Rod's a great family member of Drum Talk TV. He's been on the show twice so far, and we interviewed him with the Bonzo Bash.
Oh, yeah.
I interviewed him online, and you're doing something very special for him. Why don't you talk about that?
I'm very, very excited. The hair is standing on my arm right now.
And we're going to see him play tonight, too,
Yes,
which
we're
is
going to go
great.
see Rod.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did a piece for him, my third piece I sent to him, and took like $290 to ship this drum, and I knew he was a instructor at the Berklee School of Music, so I sent it there. And this is the time that his wife was passing away.
Right.
And I heard nothing from him for 2 years. Very discouraging. I thought the guy hated it, and he just kicked that drum out the door or something. But I put a little note in there for him, and he emailed me out of the blue, Rod Morgenstein.
2 years later?
Yeah. I am so sorry. My wife had just passed away, and I love this drum. He still has it. And he looks at it every day, and he thinks it's the most amazing thing. And I know those pictures are all peeling off. It was like one of my first ones. I said, Rod, give it to me. I want to make you a new one. He says, over my dead body. I love that thing. So.
And they're seeing a picture of it right now while you're talking about it.
Yeah,
Rod.
so, we had contacted back and forth, and I kept advised of what was happening. And I got a booth at NAMM, and I said, are you going to be there? Come by. And he did, and he saw my stuff for the first time. You can't describe this stuff.
It is hard to describe, and although I have to say, I love how you articulated what it is, and it's a memory box, and it's not just any box, it's something that's a part of somebody's life, sensibilities, what they've poured their heart into, drumming, and even if someone's not a drummer, I mean, this is such a great way to sort of encapsulate the times of their lives in pictures.
I get more reaction from non-musicians.
Really?
They love these things.
Interesting.
But anyway, back to Rod.
Yeah.
He calls me 2 weeks after NAMM. I wrote him an email, said thanks for coming by, and he says, I was kind of struck by this awesome booth you had, and let's talk about a project. And we contacted back and forth, and he sent me his very first 2 drum sets. The very first one he got after seeing Ringo on the Ed Sullivan Show, and his parents went out and had to buy each piece separately. And it's sitting in my house, Rod Morgenstein's drum.
First drum kit.
And
How old was he when he got that, do you know?
I have no idea, but he was so ecstatic about playing drums. And then he sent me this other second set that it's a retro, really cool wrapped one, but we're working on a really big project together, and I'm going to take it out to New York where he lives and put it in his Florida room, I guess. Right. And that's going to be a wonderful trip. I'm driving out there by myself. I'm going to just journal. I'm going to take pictures. This is a dream come true. Like I said, he's one of my mentors.
You've got to kind of reassemble. You got to build it, take it apart, drive it out there, and then reassemble it. Do you want to tell everybody what you're doing with this first drum kit?
Well, we went through some ideas back and forth. I was going to do the same thing like I talked about Neil, putting all the Neil stuff in there. He didn't want all this dregs and winger stuff, and I said, let's do your influences. So we're going to put all his influence, all his great drummers that influenced him in all these different drums. We're going to set up a big one with a big piece of glass on it. He's got his first drumstick, his first cymbal. He's going to build this whole room around this. Oh, I can't wait.
That's great. I think it's so cool that just a little side personal note, I think it's so cool that he's kept everything, because I'm like that. I've never gotten rid of anything. I traded a ride cymbal for a pair of hi-hats with Carmine apiece about 30 years ago. Other than that, I've never
You still got the same timpanis?
I have my
Those
timpanis.
are your same timpanis.
I still have my timpani drums. I'll show you. They're out in the little studio. And I just, so to see someone do stuff like this with something that maybe they kept, but of course they don't want to play it anymore or whatever. It's just such a great idea.
And Rod was generous, man. He had these things packed in cases for 15 years. He hadn't even seen them.
Wow.
And so to have him trust me and send these drums to me, it's just, you put your heart, blood, and soul into these things, and I just want people to see them. Dan, I want people to see these things. Yeah. And I think if I can get this into the fancy camp, a lot of people will see these.
And this piece is specifically made for the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp CEO. Is that Dave's position?
Dave Fishof, yeah.
And out here in Vegas, we're at my place here in Vegas where we're based, and all the images have to do with Dave, with all these wonderful guests that he's had. I mean, there's everybody from, I can't even name everybody.
Zach Wilde, Gene Simmons,
Joe
Davy
Walsh,
Jones.
Rudy Sarzo, Davy Jones.
Davy Jones, he got that whole 80s Monkees thing going again, and got that whole resurgence of the Monkees going.
Yeah.
And this guy has produced music, and he's just, I want to meet this guy and give this to him.
Yeah.
He will love this, I think.
So it's interesting to me that you're doing this as sort of like a drive-by. You're just going to kind of carpet bomb the place with this because he doesn't know, does he?
This etched glass.
I could see why you're so proud. The one that you're making for Rod that's made out of the different pieces, they'll all be, and I don't know what the proper term is for the outside. I don't know if I should say wrapped or finished.
It's just like any wrap. Everybody's doing these special wraps now on regular playing drums, but putting a sleeve inside and lights and stuff. But basically, Rod wanted to keep the integrity of his drums. He wanted to make sure
the outside finish.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I put a little sleeve in it, and if he wants to take these drums back to being drums, he can just pull the sleeve out. I don't glue, I don't do anything. So
that's cool.
It'll retain the original body of the drum, but it'll have all these great memories of his mentors inside it. He can go in there and have a drink and look at this. And,
So are you like collecting pictures? He gave you a list?
Yeah, he gave me a full list, and I've
pictures.
been finding some really great photos. And I'm going to concentrate on maybe a few bigger photos instead of so many little ones. Someone like this, David, I mean, he's touched so many lives that you can't, it's hard to leave something out,
Yeah, you'd need to use like one of my timpanis or something.
Exactly, and I got a few of those.
Oh, do you? Whoa, really?
I got a few of them, but they're all dented, and I think I can knock one out and put all the pieces together for one, and I want to make this big timpani.
Really?
I saw it in a museum or like a music museum or something with a big piece of glass, and that would be.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
Well, you need one for your set.
Well, and I was going to say that what I'd love to do is I picture. Lori Shoup's probably going to kill me when she sees this, but I'd love to have a kit. I picture something, and this is to get all your juices flowing too, because this is great, man. I picture a long conference table, about 8 feet long, 10 feet long, and maybe get like a Gibraltar stealth racks to run down the sides, and then all these different drums are mounted within it, inside it, and then they're all finished with all these great artists and manufacturer personalities.
Up to it.
From click a button and poof, the whole thing lights up. You know me, I'll be having the meetings like, okay, everybody turn off the lights. We'll get to meet. Everyone turns off the lights, poof, hit the button.
It's the aura.
Yeah. But I'd like to do that. So we will commission, that won't be a free piece. We'll commission you to do that.
Very nice.
And I'll probably drive you completely nuts with the design of the whole thing, but it'll be a beautiful piece, I know.
Being a graphic artist, that is the fun part, is laying this all out with the customer, working with the person, saying, I don't like that photo, I don't like that, can you put this, and getting it down on computer before I wrap it is the beauty of it.
Right.
So I work the template out, I work what we want everybody asks you, what are you going to charge for these? Are you getting the drum or am I getting the drum? Do you want big glass? Do you want it lit up? Do you want it,
how big is it?
Yeah, you can't really put a price on these things. So that's what I like every project.
Not on a rate card. They're priced per project, just like all this stuff you see around the house that my wife does.
Amazing.
Yeah, they're all different prices because they're all different pieces.
Yep. One of a kind.
Yeah. And I want to show everybody this is more than just something to look at. It's real functional. So we're going to demonstrate, okay? So I have, we've always got some things tucked away here.
Always. What you got? Let's see what you got.
So, this is a great magazine. Drum Magazine with Ian Pace.
I subscribe to that.
Oh, Tom Magazine. Ooh, The Edge. There he is, Neil Peart. Another modern drummer, more Tom. Oh, here's a drum instructional book, Drum Set Coordination by my friend Blake Powson. So you can see, now this is a Guinness Book of World Records. Why would I have this laying around?
Because of the biggest drum set?
Because of the biggest drum set, that's right. Reverend Mark, right there. But the point is like, here's how it works. So it's just like any other coffee table. So you sit around and you kibitz, or you commiserate, or you whine and bitch about the day, or whatever, or like this. Okay, so here's a real life example. We haven't seen each other in 32 years. And in that time, he's grown 4 inches. I've shrunk 3. He still has his hair. I lost mine. I gained a tattoo. I got 4 kids, married into 4 more.
Wow.
I mean, all this stuff has happened. You've become an amazing graphic artist. What have you been doing for 30? So tell me about the last 32 years.
It's a blur. We wake up one day and it's a different day. But just working my butt off. Everybody, all the supporters, Jim, Vince, everybody out there, from Jenny, all my family, everybody. It just says, don't give up. My brother Darren is the most amazing supporter. He just loves this stuff, and for someone to help you, motivate you, it really keeps you going. And to do 74, like I said, this is number 74.
And that's 74 in only 8 months. No, just kidding. How long have you been doing that?
I think I did my first one was that Rod one was 2006. So that's when I first started really concentrating on it. And it's 70 pieces later.
Wow. What's the biggest evolution that's happened? Did you go from like using Elmer's glue to...
Yep. That first Rod Morgenstein, I'm so ashamed of.
He shouldn't be, though.
Those pictures are fun, because I used to just, hodgepodge it on the inside. It was a crafty thing. It was a folk kind of drum, but it turned into such an amazing thing, and putting a sleeve and the electronics inside it, and these lights that are coming out nowadays are so amazing. And it's just really good, and to make a memory box like this, not only is it for magazines, but like we said, we can throw all our pics, all our concert tickets, all your memory stuff inside it there.
Ooh.
Put your drumsticks.
Drumsticks you catch at a concert or play at a special gig.
Pile them all in there.
I played used these at Wembley.
All
they're
your
going in the memory.
backstage passes, all your stuff inside
what
there.
What a great
And then
idea.
you hit it, and boom, all your friends see all your nostalgia stuff in there, and it's just
a few red beer cups from the gig,
just
right?
Anything that
beer
meant
pong funnel.
something. Yeah, it's amazing.
Bra. Oh, sorry.
But when I was first starting out, I felt that, as you and I, high school drummers, you go carry on, and it's like, you carry this set around, your wife saw, what are you going to do with this? You're not playing anymore. It's just going to sit in the attic, and those are the ones I want. If that wife brings me that bass drum, and I put pictures of him playing in high school in it, and that would be the best wife ever, don't you think?
It's a great keepsake. It's a keepsake. It's functional. It's, like you said, it's a memory box.
And everyone's different. Everyone's a different price. I love to work with people. Give me the drum. It costs less if you have a drum. It's not a set price, and I can work on it, and I just love making these things. I really do.
That's awesome. It's so cool to see you
and
so passionate.
And it's bridged out to guitars and stuff. I work.
Talk about this fretless bass.
I work close with the music store in Morgan Hill where I live, and these guys have just been coming to me. Hey, put this on my guitar. Can you do this in the guitar? So I do the pick guards, photos, and I started doing headstock parts that you can put your logo on it, your band logo, anything like that. But it's just another avenue of art that I work with a laser engraver and cut a lot of these pieces out on an engraver, and it's just being in the industry, art industry, and printing and stuff. You learn a lot of tricks, and I think it all led to this.
And you've always been a music lover, so how cool is it to now be doing these pieces for all these special people you've admired your whole life?
Jim Corwin, a good friend of ours, his father, Johnny Mercer, grandfather was Johnny Mercer.
Right.
They got the Johnny Mercer Foundation. I'm doing I did a great piece for them that they're going to try and raise money for the Johnny Mercer Museum in Savannah. The Songwriters Hall of Fame, his grandfather started. And they finally asked Jim to be on the board a few years ago. So he's on the board, and we're doing this whole Johnny Mercer Award they give away at the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and I'm doing this whole thing. We're going to auction it off, make money for scholarships. And
that's great.
April Samuels, come on, I'm doing 2 big pink jobs for her end of October for her big cancer thing.
And I have to say, you all have to check out April Samuels' interview on Drum Talk TV. She's an amazing person, a great drummer, breast cancer survivor, triple negative breast cancer, the least survival rate, the most aggressive, and she's just such a champion and a crusader. Yeah,
you would
and
never
she
know.
just has so much passion for life. And
she came by the NAMM booth. We had hooked up on Friends, and so I had this cancer drum, and she's holding it. We're taking pictures, and I leaned down. I said, "I'm giving you that drum," and she jumps on me, and oh my God, I found that drum in the trash. It was in the gutter. And it's all pink, and now she's got it.
This is like a drum rescue ranch.
Exactly. Come on, everybody knows that. Look at that beat up drum. Give it to me.
Yeah, how sad. You can't let them die.
And drum heads, I coat them, but I try to use all the used drum heads. Where do they go?
Yeah.
You can't just stick that stuff in a landfill and it's going to disappear.
Right.
You know, so I try to use all the
and it won't disappear because it's
won't.
Mylar. It's
A good friend of mine starts doing a guitar string jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
oh, cool.
What do guitar strings do? They throw them away. You don't make something out of these things, you know?
Yeah.
And it's sitting in front of us, and there's so many creative people out there. I'm just a part of a little thing, but...
And if you want to hook up with Terry, if you want one of these pieces made for yourself, if you want to learn more about what he's doing, maybe even go to work for him doing this, all his information's right here on the screen. You can follow Terry on his website, on Facebook, and hook up with him, and we're going to follow the journey of this project with Rod Morgenstein's piece.
This is going to happen at the end of September, so I got a month to go home and put these together, and then drive it out there. So yeah, it's going to be very head to the grindstone. I'm so excited.
Very cool. Thanks so much for coming on.
I am so happy to see you
It's so
again.
cool to see you after all this time.
Let's have fun
man.
at Winger tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everybody for joining us here on a special edition of Sprockets and Cogs, a different type of manufacturer show here on Drum Talk TV. And we'll see you soon. Thanks.